Today I'll be joined by Andre Royo. You may know him from The Wire, Truth Be Told, or Empire, but today we're here to talk about his marvelous one-man show that's also being recorded for Audible, Drinking in America. How you doing, man? How's it feel to be back home?
Feels good. Look at you. You just jumped up for the camera. You just got all ready and popped up. That was so beautiful. That was a beautiful intro. Wow. We both sitting here talking like, yeah, I'm tired. We're having a good day.
I've done a few.
Baba, I'm feeling great, man. It feels good to be back home. You know, I've been in LA for a while now, and I forgot a little bit about that New York energy. It's fantastic. Like the minute you just land at the airport, you just feel yourself getting revved up. Like, gotta get my luggage, gotta get that cab, gotta get to my Airbnb, and you just feel alive again. And that's what New York does. It hits you with a jolt of electricity. So it's good to be home.
People know you as a talented actor. People know Eric Bogosian as a talented playwright, actor as well. You two linking up on this project is I feel like it's something special. Take us back to the beginning when you decided to do this.
Well, it's a long beginning. I mean, it comes in sections. I was with a dear friend of mine by the name of Mums. I don't know if you
I know Mums,
the
man.
poet.
Yeah, I know Mums, and then Mums played in Oz too.
That's right.
That's my guy, man.
That's my
rest in peace to Mums.
Thank you, brother. That's my high school buddy. And we were doing a play at the lab called The View from 151st Street. And every night after the show, Mums would go to Eric Bogosian's house to play poker. And he invited me one day, and I went to this Eric Bogosian's house, and he was a fan of The Wire. He was telling me about his, dealings with heroin and stuff like that. So he was like telling me how much Bubbles meant to him. And we just hit it off, and we started playing poker. I'm not a good poker player, so I would lose my money. And I told him, yo, man.
By the way, you want to play cards later?
No, I don't, not at all. No. But I told him I would lose money, but I love your writing, and I want to do one day talk radio. He wrote this play called Talk Radio that Oliver Stone did a movie about, where he played the lead character. And I fell in love with that play and that movie. So I told him I want to do talk radio one day. And then cut to, you know the game. I'm in LA doing shows, living my life, and then COVID hit. And once COVID hit, it just seemed to me at that time that, things were over. Like Broadway was closed. I never heard of that. Like New York City was shut.
Right.
In New York City, we take pauses, but shut down. I just was like, oh, it's over. And then all of a sudden we started coming back, and I got back into doing some TV, and it didn't feel the same. I felt a sense of loneliness. I was really into drinking at that point, and I just wasn't happy. And I was like, either I'm gonna get really, really, can I curse?
Yeah, absolutely.
It's like HBO. I was really, okay.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, I'm thinking to myself, I'm gonna get fucked up, and I'm on a one-way ticket, like leaving Las Vegas, where I'm just, I'm dealing with deaths in my life. I've lost some friends, and COVID hit, and I went through a divorce. I'm unhappy, and I said, I gotta find my joy, because I love the craft too much. And so I need to go back to New York and get on stage.
Absolutely.
Called Eric Bogosian up and said, yo, I want to get on stage. And he was like, I got this play, Drinking in America. And I was like, I'm drinking right now. Like, I don't know if I can do a one-man show. It's been like 15 years since I've been on stage. And he was like, well, I did it back in the day, and I wrote it when I was a year and 6 months sober. And when we were talking, if I said yes to this project, I'd be doing the rehearsal when I'm a year and 6 months sober.
Wow.
So I felt like it was kismet.
It's like a full circle.
Yeah, so I said, oh, no, Eric, I'm gonna take you up on that. Let's do Drinking in America. And then once I said that, it just seemed like the universe was speaking for me. It just lined up. Audible called up. I don't even know how they heard about it. Mm-hmm. We was in Indiana, me and my director, Mark Armstrong, and met Jesse Eisenberg, who was working with Audible at the time, doing something. And again, we were thinking about talk radio. And then when we got to New York, talk radio couldn't happen because of some rights or some legality. Yeah. Drinking America was all full steam ahead. And they said the same thing you said. They were like, Eric Bogosian's writing and you're acting. We want to do it. And I was like, okay. And then we, 2-3 months later, we're here. And it's been life-changing. It's been a life-changing experience for me to be on stage back in New York, in front of my family, in front of my friends. My daughter never saw me act on stage before, so it was the first time for her.
You gotta show out.
You gotta show her the reasons why Dad's been away for moments in her life, because of the craft. And it's just been a monumental moment. I would put it right up there with my experiences with The Wire.
Where
yeah.
One of the things, and I also feel like what you did with The Wire, and what you accomplished with Drinking in America, I feel like it's all connected, and we'll get to it. One of the things I want people to know, because I was lucky enough to see the show, and
Thanks for coming.
no, thank you, because the key is stamina.
Yes.
You were on 1,000% from minute one all the way to the end. And I just, the one thing that came to mind, I was like, yo, how's this guy not tired? He must have like a Bowflex and a Peloton and a shake weight.
Yeah.
Like what? Like
it's called 2-liter Coca-Cola and a lot of green tea. Now, it's just, Eric Bogosian told me, when we said yes and we were going into really getting into the complexities and the preparation, Eric Bogosian said, this play, and most of my plays that he wrote, like Talk Radio too, is you put your foot on the gas and you don't let go. And I'm a New Yorker. We move fast. Everything about us is just like, go, 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 get it done. Food to go, breakfast to go, get to work, get on the train. So I would say it's in my DNA. And you go as hard as you can until the buzzer until the buzzer buzzes, or when the curtain closes, then you pass out.
Right.
I believe me, when the show's over, I go out, I sign a couple of playbills, I say hi to a couple of people, and I'm running to bed. I'm running to bed just to hit the bed and recharge. So it's just that that energy that I think I'm born with, or grew up in, and then when you get on stage and you see that audience, there's an obligation, there's a relationship, and they're feeding you. Like you guys, when I walk out and I see the audience, I see you in the audience for a second, I'm going, oh, y'all came here for a show. Right. Well, let me give you a show. That's my responsibility. And if I feel myself getting low, I just close my eyes, or I just concentrate in the moment of my character, and I can feel you guys is in the audience feeding me, like, do it, Dre, do it, and it's a give and take. And if you give me the energy, I'll give you the show.
Some funny parts too.
Yeah,
the funny come easy too? Some people struggle with the funny, especially in theater.
I guess, for me, the funny has come easy because I'm not trying to be funny.
Okay.
You know what I mean? I think, I'm a student of the craft, and there was a moment when I was in school, and my acting teacher at the time, was telling me about Jack Lemmon, and he said, any actor trying to be funny is the kiss of death, because it's not something you should try to do. You should try not to be funny, and that's funny. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like just, it's like when you have an emotional scene, and you're trying to get to a point where I think certain roles or certain scenes, you're expected to cry, and for me, it always worked where when you try not to cry, when you're trying to stop yourself from crying, that's when you cry. So I think it's the same with comedy. I'm not a comedian, and I think that's the hardest job in the business, and I think those guys, deserve more than they get as far as accolades, as far as awards, because to walk into a room where people are expecting you to be funny, like make me laugh right now, that's a pressure I don't like to mess with, I don't fuck with. But when I'm doing my roles, I would say I'm a comedic actor, where I know that there are moments that are funny, because we as an audience have a fucked up idea of what's funny. If somebody busts their ass in front of us, we laugh. We go,
like,
oh
shit, I wish I was recording.
Yeah, right? Like, that's why,
so I can show it to my family at dinner.
Listen, World Star became famous. The phone became famous with that camera from catching people get fucked up. So we have a horrible sense of humor. We laugh at anything, even when we're uncomfortable. It's like an uncomfortable laugh. So I don't know why it comes easy. Like I said, I just think because I try not to be funny, I just try to be honest. And I think I leave it up to the audience. And most of the time, the audience is just as fucked up as I am.
There's a collection of characters in your one-man show.
Yeah.
Can you walk us through it? Walk us through a few of the characters.
It was interesting. There's like about 12 or 13 characters in the show. And when I was trying to memorize this goddamn 70 pages of lines, it was hard for me to really try to. I would memorize one monologue and forget the next one. And the reason, or what helped me digest the words, was I looked at all these characters as one, because I felt like in my relationship with alcohol, I'm a year and 8 months sober now, but in my journey or my relationship with alcohol, I kind of felt like I've been each one of these characters at one part one point of my life.
That's what weaves them together.
That's right. It's an addiction to something. They have different substances, but the addiction is the same. When you really, really want something and you lose control and your desire for it, you're addicted. And some of these characters are addicted to the American dream, like The Melting Pot. It's about the immigrant from Havana who came in America, and he really, really believes that if he works hard, all his dreams will come true. And he gets caught up into that American dream, and he's just working, not having time for anything else, losing family, losing sleep, but he believes if he works that hard, the dream will come true. And, unfortunately, 5 out of 10, it doesn't. You just get caught in that hamster wheel of just working. And you forget how to live, And then you got the agent, Wired, who's fucking doing coke and drinking, and he's into the Hollywood fame. He wants to be number one. And Jay-Z said it best, fame is one of the worst addictions in the world. It makes you do shit that you don't want to do just to be noticed, just to be seen. And that's the Wired dude. Then you got the dude, ceramic tile salesman, and he's addicted to despair. One thing that we know as artists, as writer, fabulous writer, sometimes you're in different hotels in different states. It's lonely. You sit around bored out of your mind. A hotel, I don't want to lose any sponsors. Like, I would love to get on Hotels.com, but any hotel from 1 star to 5 star after a week is a nightmare.
It's a nightmare.
It's like a jail cell.
Like
you're just sitting there just lonely. You go down to the bar, you sit around, you're trying to make friends and cordial conversation with people that you don't know, and you're not going to keep in touch with. You're just trying to make a connection for now, and he's addicted to that. So he finds himself caught up in celebrating hookers and champagne. So these guys are all addicted and all lost in a certain bottle. I always feel like it describes the alienation of men in postmodern time, where we as men built this idea of what masculinity is.
Okay.
Where we go, we must protect, we must provide, we must stay strong. And when I was growing up, it might be different. I'm a little older than you by the grays. But when I was growing up,
I'm right behind you. You see the hairline?
Okay,
right
there
there
you
behind
go.
you. I'm right there behind you.
So when I was growing up, and I look at my dad and my uncle and stuff, you had men that just were so hell bent on being strong, not showing weakness. If you were too smart, you was a geek or a nerd. If you showed vulnerability, you was a sucker or a marshmallow. Good guys finish last. Like this idea where men have to be strong and couldn't show emotions. And work is hard.
Absolutely.
It wears you down. And all of a sudden you can't go to anybody and go, I'm fucking tired. I need a break, or else you consider soft.
But you get that.
I get it.
So what point?
I grew up
At what point in your life did you understand the flaw in that kind of thinking? It took me a long time.
When I had my daughter.
Oh, word. Oh, damn.
Daughter changes everything.
No, because I just had a daughter 3 years ago.
Changes everything.
Changes everything.
And I knew it. And I was in a club. I found out my wife at the time was pregnant. I'm celebrating. I'm in the club just getting drunk. We woo-hawing, hoping for a boy. I'm gonna get a boy. It's gonna be hip hop. It's gonna be this, and this. And I remember going to the bathroom, and I took a piss, and I'm looking in the mirror, and I'm drunk as hell. And I looked at myself, and I was like, if I have a boy, I'm not gonna change. Nothing is gonna change about my lifestyle right now. It's gonna be partying and bullshitting and teaching my kid how to get laid and how to be a man.
How to be a man.
But if I have a girl, I don't want her to be with a guy like me. I'm gonna have to change. I'm gonna have to be vulnerable. I'm gonna have to open up and really try to be a different idea of what a man is.
Absolutely.
And once that opened up, I started looking at my dad. I started understanding my uncles and seeing how they never showed me emotions. They busted their ass and worked hard for me, but I never saw them ask for help. I never saw them show any emotion but strength. And I also saw them go to the bottle.
But a lot of men have daughters. So that's your experience mirrors mine in a way that's almost fucking scary.
Yeah.
I mean, I literally said the same shit in the mirror while drunk.
Yeah.
Like it's almost like damn, right? So a lot of men have daughters and they don't go through that change. I wonder, like, why did you have that change? Why did I have that change? Maybe we're good people.
Yeah, I know. You know what? I'm a mama's boy. Right?
I'm not a mama's boy.
I'm a mama's boy. So for me, my mom always told me,
love my mama, but I'm not a mama's boy.
I'm a mama's boy all the way. And she told me she didn't want anything. She didn't care what I became. She didn't care what I did. She knew the hustle out in the streets was going to be one way or another. She wanted me to just be a good person. Whatever job you had, even if you got that, illegal job, whatever job you got, just try to be a good person. And for me, that stuck. And for me, understanding what a good person meant was breaking outside of barriers, thinking for yourself, and trying not to get caught in a cycle that you know is wrong. And I always had this idea in my mind that when I hung out with my crew, we did some bad shit. Everybody was doing bad shit. But there were certain people within the crew that didn't know that they were doing bad shit. Right. They convinced themselves that if I'm stealing, I need it. I gotta have it. So it's about only the strongest survive. But there were certain guys who knew they were doing bad, and when they did it, they got worse karma because they knew they were acting outside of who they were. So for me, I knew everything about myself at one point or another. I had to at least gauge it to, are you being a good person? And maybe that's what opened up that moment of me looking into the mirror, drunk as fuck, about to have a kid. I was like, I gotta be a good dad.
Right.
And I wasn't acting at the time. I mean, I was doing a little theater here and there, but I was doing construction. And my mind was telling me, I'm about to tell this little kid, you can be anything you wanna be. And I'm saying that with true belief. I didn't want my kid to look at me and go, so you want to be a construction worker? Is that what you wanted?
Right.
I was like, I can't have that. I gotta have my kid look at me and believe what I'm about to tell him by action. So I want my kid to look at me and say, oh, like you're an actor. You always wanted to be that. So you're speaking truth. So I had to open up a vulnerability and just, change my game.
Drinking in America is such an important piece of art because, especially for you, because you play Bubbles, who was one of the most memorable, lovable addicts in television history. And we meet Bubbles, he's at rock bottom, right? And he stays there until season 5 of The Wire. So a lot of people, when they think about the conversation around addiction, they think like, oh, well, that guy's, he's doing bad. When in actuality, addiction has many faces, and you got a chance to show that in the play. And I think it's a unique opportunity for us to see the many different faces of addiction, and even try to help our brothers and sisters who are going through these things before it gets worse or goes to the next level, or just in general. Do those worlds connect for you, or was it any type of inspiration in that?
Yeah, again, I had a long stint with alcohol, and I had, in my preparation for Bubbles, I saw and met a lot of people in different variables of an addiction, and I'm, again, as a New Yorker, growing up, I saw guys and women coming out of offices in the middle of 0-degree weather, having to have a cigarette. Like, you had to have a smoke. And I just looked at everything and realized we're all addicted to something. I mean, sugar is number one, right?
But even with the hard stuff too, right? I mean, when I was on the corner, like, dudes in suits will pull up to buy crack because it's like Friday.
It's accessibility.
Friday crack.
It's accessibility to just get away, to escape. So, I've had many aspects of understanding that addiction is not the problem. It's the problem of self resilience. Like, when you quit drinking, it's not like your life gets better. You still have the same problem.
Absolutely.
What happens is you're just saying to yourself, I don't need the liquor to handle my problems. So then you got to build a certain strength. And I think we all have that strength. We just get worn down. And once you get a little taste of something that makes you feel better, you're gonna do it. And you don't know you have a problem until it becomes a problem. Like alcohol is something that in our society that's just used and commercialized as a celebratory thing. We pop bottles when you wanna celebrate. It's Happy New Year, drink all day. When you have a bad day, go get a drink. It'll make you feel better. It's medicine. And we do it all the time. We have beers and watch sports. Alcohol is connected to everything. And the person drinking doesn't know he has a problem until it becomes a problem. And then, so I think that's with anything, with sugar, obesity, with nicotine, with caffeine, we all have it. And once the individual recognizes it and understands that it's gotten away from him, he's doing it now when he doesn't want to do it. Then he can start deciding on whether to make a change. And it's not easy. And, for me, I don't even know if I would be sober right now if I didn't make a decision or things didn't start happening to me that made me have to make a real rock bottom choice. I lost some friends, I went through a divorce. My daughter graduated, I'm an empty nester, and I'm feeling like shit. And I'm just drinking. Trader Joe's is selling Japanese whiskey at $30 a bottle. That's easy. I'm just going in like, you know. And I get a phone call, and I don't mind sharing this with you because we family, and if it can help people out there, you know, so be it. But I got a call, and like I said, I'm a mama's boy, and my mom was diagnosed with Alzheimer's.
Sorry to hear that.
Yeah, and you know, at first I was boo-hooing, and I'm talking to my friends, and they were like, you know, most of my friends were like, I lost my mom 3 years ago, or my mom is going through that now, and I realized I'm 50-something years old. It's just my turn to deal with grown-up shit.
Right.
And if your mom is calling you and you're finding out that she has Alzheimer's, I have no time to be drunk. I have to always be ready. If that phone rings and you need me, I'm ready. I can't be like, I got a hangover, I can't do it right now, or forget that you even called in the first place. Playtime is over. So for me, that was my, I guess, for lack of a better word, bottom. Because I don't think there's a bottom. I think you make a choice after you get a couple of hits, and whatever your hit is that you can't take no more, you're gonna make a choice to go one way or the other. And my way was to put the bottle down and make sure I could always pick up the phone. And you know, that was it. You know, cold turkey. Absolutely. Enough said. And I realized once I put the bottle down and started going through my sobriety, that it wasn't the liquor that I was addicted to. I was addicted to the lifestyle.
The social piece.
I like being in the bar.
Yeah.
I like talking shit. I
Yeah.
like going woo-ha for the team and knocking back a beer.
Right.
And then I realized I can do all that woo-ha with a cup of coffee or another vice, you know, Coca-Cola. But now, you know, I choose, and Drinking in America came in at the right time where we were saying how the universe speaks, where I was like, wow, I can take all my issues and all my experiences with alcohol and put it in my craft instead of my liver. This is my way of being able to go on stage and saying, thank you, liquor, for all the good times. Because they were good times, you know. Sometimes liquor gave you the courage to talk to the right girl.
Right.
Sometimes liquor calms you down so you can go in that audition and book a job. So I had great times with liquor. And fuck you for all the bad times. So I'm on stage going, and good day. Bravo, and I'll see you later.
This conversation is important because I do think it's going to help a whole lot of people put it into perspective. Is there like a formula for Audible? Did they just like, do they record every play, or is it just like one?
I don't know.
Because the one I went to, you didn't miss a beat. You didn't skip a word.
Thank you.
Know.
So I hope they record that. No, knowing how the universe works, they probably missed that one. Like I know from what I understand, they bought the Minetta Lane Theater, a wonderful theater that I used to go to back in the day, and I think it's set up to be, you know, to be able to record. I just don't know what they choose to record or what day.
Okay.
They, you know, I think they were going to tell me, but I told them not to tell me because I don't need the extra.
Yeah.
Like I don't need extra pressure. So I know that it's set up that they can record when they want to, and I know that there's a couple of shows throughout the run that they probably did record. So hopefully they recorded the good ones, and if not, they'll just do a whole bunch of splicing and get it right. But Audible has been fantastic, man. Audible has really set up a certain standard in theater where they really, really respect and treat the artists the way they should be treated, because we go out there and we try to give our, you know, our blood, sweat, and tears to perform or entertain. And when you go backstage, they make it real nice and really set you up with a lot of caregiving. Like, you know, they got me a PT, personal trainer, stretch me out. They make sure that, you know, I got, you know, the right type of dietary needs to keep my stamina up. Like they really
six 2 liters of Coca-Cola.
You know, when I need it, that's right. You know, a couple and a 2 liter water. You know, just to make sure I mix it up a little bit. But no, it's been a great experience. And like I said, I hadn't done theater in like about 15 years. Right. So to come back and take this on and have this type of lift, you know, it just makes me, you know, makes me really appreciate the love of acting and the love of the audience and that relationship that we always share. And most of my actor friends that you know of, you know, that you know, Sonia and everybody, we always understand. Sonia too, a poet, actress, writer. You know, the theater is the actor's medium. It's the most spiritually satisfying experience that any actor can have. Wow. You know, in television, it's the writer's medium. You guys really, really pen to paper. It's where y'all can tell 8 episodes, y'all can tell a real gripping story, and it pays very well for the actor, right? And then movies is the director's medium, right? The director is the boss, the god. So if any actor out there, you get a chance to step on the stage, I always say go for it, because it's like a jolt of just creative juices that I never experienced. And once I got a taste of it back in the day, I knew I was gonna find my way back there. So I'm really like your first question, how does it feel to be home?
Right.
It feels like love. So I'm glad to be back.
What's next for you?
What's next for me is a nice long nap, and then I go back to the hustle. I go back to LA. I live in Ojai now, but I go back to LA, tell the people, okay, because when you tell your agents and managers you want to do theater, they get pissed off. They're like, oh shit. Oh. So now they got to make up for lost time, and hopefully I'll end up on another show somewhere or do some movies. I love independent films. The last film, To Leslie, did well, and there's talks of this going other places. Talks of maybe taking Drinking in America to London or to LA, and talk radio is still something I want to tackle. So I think, this experience on stage has just opened up another avenue where I can, now travel with my creative aspirations and do it all.
Well, if you're there, we're here to support. Thank you.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate you. And listen, not to say that I don't want some of your words coming out of my mouth. So you wouldn't invite us to them. Write me a character, brother.
Or it might be a one-man show. I can do that too.
We can do it again and again.